invitations from God, but then I was starting to feel that their personal responsibility was to me, because anytime things didn't happen, then it fell in my lap as to whether or not I fixed it or solved it or did anything, right? And the Lord said, that's not how this works. Yes! That's not how this works. He said, how about this? What if your invitation, this is how we started this to begin with, what if your invitation with God is your invitation with God, just like my invitation is mine? And all of us stand on equal ground, saying yes to the things that God's inviting us into. And then sometimes our places overlap and we run together, as each of our assignments are meant to be symphony, meant to be together. And so nobody's doing anything for me, and I'm not doing anything for anyone else. I am doing a thing with God, and anyone is welcome to be a part of it. Right? Thank you, right? Then I realized, okay, are you starting to see that this is different? Because see, otherwise, here's how our relationships and sometimes our churches work. You know, leadership is supposed to equip people. Those people are supposed to serve and give. There's like a mutual exchange. Some people stay, some people go, blah, blah, blah. Ugh, right? Okay, let's not do that. How about each of us own our own partnership with God? And we each own what we have to contribute in our space, and none of us is held hostage to another person, but we continue to live a life based on invitation from the Lord and what He's doing in our lives. Can you feel the difference of that? That's a life of alignment, because then we find ourselves not saying, feeling, and doing things that are counter to how we really want to be in all of our relationships. It is hidden inner conflict that is causing us to behave and think and feel in ways that we don't want to. And the Lord is saying, metanoia of that. Put that away and come into a higher way of thinking, where you can live in alignment, where you can honor yourself and honor someone else. Because by the way, I don't know if any of you have ever sacrificially given to somebody that God didn't invite you to sacrificially give to, but how much fruit does that bear? Not much. Isn't this so freeing? And then I saw this. I saw this thing. Were we on the phone together? Was this our conversation, right? Am I thinking right? Sorry, I'm having a moment. So I realized that this idea of all of us being fully in on who God and we are, and then doing that side by side together, each of us having a different part, each of us bringing our own identity, each of us having our own assignment, whether this is in a family, then we're not talking about here, this is just life. You can get the picture, right? That kind of life with God frees everybody from responding to us out of obligation and responsibility. And it frees everyone in our life to respond out of passion and joy. It frees us from the expectation and puts us into a place of life expectancy. And this is the life that I believe Christ lived. I think He said, I'm all in on what God is doing, and you are welcome to run with me. He didn't go, I'm going to train you for a few years and then I expect you to build a church. He didn't do that. Because what does that do? It puts heavy burdens on us. How many of us have been living every day of our lives with some percentage of our day carrying the heavy burden of obligation? Right? And we try to live under that heavy burden of obligation, trying to have our thoughts, right, be kind and joyful, trying to have our words be good, trying to have our feelings reflect how we really want to feel. Do you see how discongruous this is? And so I think there was this thing that Jesus did where he said, I am all in with God, and I invite anyone into this space who wants to run in that. And for anyone who isn't, that's okay. You are free to be whoever you want to be in a space that's a little further out. That's like, Uncle Somebody, like that's that, like, those are the relationships that you just give to out of the goodness, out of the overflow. In fact, that word overflow is very interesting because I've discovered that Jesus constantly talked about himself, are you ready for this? I did not know this, as an outpouring. Really? The word is kenosis. What? I know, right? You knew. Oh, you didn't? Yes. Is that twice? Twice I've gotten you in like 2 years? Well, 4-year friendship, let's just be honest. Two times he didn't know something. This is the moment. Okay, I'm wrapping up. Okay, so would you put...
Pointing at my watch.
I know, but you stood up and that was the cue, and I was like, okay. Oh, okay. Will you put kenosis here?
Yeah, you got to spell it.
Kenosis. It is the word continually used when we enter into relationships that come from a place of Zoe divine life. And that is that we find ourselves poured out.
That's not right. S-I-S?
Nosis.
Can you say that Zoe thing again?
I'm not sure. What was
a place where we're in relationships that are something about Zoe?
Oh, that are coming from Zoe life, divine life with God, an invitation from God. As we just go, this is who I am with God, you are welcome to participate. But I am not held hostage to your unhealthiness. I am not held hostage to your pain. I choose to enter into it. I choose, when I'm invited, to sit with you in it. I choose to sit by you and say nothing about it when I am invited. Do you see the difference? I choose to kenosis, to let myself be poured out from a place of divine invitation. And those are the trees that are planted by living waters, not beside. They are planted by the very living waters that flow from the throne, which I believe is the Holy Spirit in the ministry of angels. They plant us. They plant us. And we are our true selves. Yay! And so, on Palm Sunday, this is my Easter reference for those of you who were waiting for it. What is it, Lord? Because he just brought it up, and I'm like, I have no idea what it is, actually. What is it? Hang on. When he said that he came to give life and to give it abundantly, it was this kind of life. A life that is free to be fully fueled by passion and joy. We may make the exact same decision out of obligation and responsibility, and the exact same decision out of joy and passion, and what's the difference? Who wants to have a parent who's raising them out of responsibility and obligation versus a parent who is raising you out of joy and passion? And that is what we are living in, is the doors opened wide to Narnia, for us to live from God's joy and passion and delight regarding us. And that's why he said, the joy of the Lord is my strength. It is not his joy about life that becomes my strength. It is his joy regarding us. So the little flower found in the dark spot next to the tree is God's delight regarding us. It wasn't so much Eastery, but it was draw your own conclusions. Okay, we're gonna, Lindsay, are you interested in hosting our prophetic practice? Yay! And so, hooray! I'm gonna let you do that with her. And would that be good? Yeah, you and Linz. Awesome.